when God is getting you ready for that dream. I found the word dream, or a variation of the word dream, 123 times in the Bible. I found it 114 times in the Old Testament and 9 times in the New Testament. The word dream, or dreamed, or dreamed, or dreameth, or dreamer, or dreamers, a variation of the word dream, 153 times in the Bible. So then God used dreams throughout the ages. He used dreams, God-given dreams, Nubians, to send a message to people of God, people that He's chosen, because He was trying to get them ready for something big in their life. You see, when God gets ready to make a huge impression on you, or a huge turning point in your life, He always makes sure that you can handle the trouble that's going to come to get you to that point. And many times it takes a dream, because when you're going through some hardships and some trials and tests, if you don't see, you can't see your way out when you're inside of a trial or a test, or when you're going through some tribulations, or whatever you want to call it, when you're going through some difficulties, you can't really see your way out. So then God gives you something to hold on when you're in the heat of that trial. When you're in the fire, God gives you something that to remind you this is your outcome, but you just got to hold on. You just got to stay faithful. You can't stop coming to church. You got to keep on praying. You got to keep on fasting. You got to keep on persevering. You can't give up. You can't give out on God. But hold on, because that dream, that Nubian that He showed you, it shall come to pass. Hold on to it. Because the state that you're in right now shows currently that that's the farthest thing from you and from happening. But it just looks that way. It's not the truth, because when God gives you something, He's going to bring it to pass. He told me I've been a surgeon. Why did I get accepted to that first medical school? Then all of a sudden God leads you around. It takes a whole nother year. You have to go a whole nother route. But all of a sudden you get admitted to a more prestigious medical school. And then before you know it, it takes some time, but you end up becoming that surgeon because you didn't give up. Oh, you had some hard times. You had some difficulties. You had to borrow and borrow and borrow and borrow. And you got into so much debt to get through medical school. And it seems like you're not going to make it. Sometimes it got overwhelming, burning a midnight oil. But you didn't give up, because that dream, that Nubian that you kept seeing in your mind, you were performing surgery. And it kept you going. You see, that's what God does. He knows how to keep you going. And that's what He sends dreams for. Because He could just simply just wait and just do it for us. But God knows that many times we need to have something to hold on to. You know, because when you're going through something, it's hard to find that silver lining in those dark clouds. But it's hard to see the sun when all clouds are around you. But that dream is your sunshine. It's your ray of hope that God said, this is what's going to come to pass. Don't get tired. Don't give up. But you've been singing, and you've been singing, and everybody been blessed by your songs, your ministry, and you've been going from church to church, and everybody just loving it, and everybody just being blessed, and everybody tells you that, you know, you should be making records because you should. But it just seems like that contract is eluding you, that big contract that launches you off, that backing with that company that's going to take you to the heights you need to go. It seems like it's just eluding you. But you just keep on singing for the Lord. And then all of a sudden, you get that big record deal to be that gospel music singer, and you become one of the top gospel music singers. And the next thing we know, we see you with John P. Key and Fred Hammond singing and recording songs. Hold on to your dreams. Don't give up. In our text today, you'll find in Genesis chapter 37, there was a young man by the name of Joseph. He came from a big family. He had 12 brothers, and he was the 11th of the 12 brothers. He had only one brother that was younger than him, and his name was Benjamin. Now, Benjamin was Joseph's only whole brother who was by his mother and his father. All of the rest of them, they had the same father, but they had different mothers from him. And the Bible says that Joseph's father, who was Jacob, the Bible tells us that the angel changed his name, we know it was God, changed his name to Israel. So Jacob ended up having 12 sons, and the 11th one was Joseph. And the Bible says he loved Joseph above all other sons. Now, out of those 12 sons that Jacob had, he had them by 4 women. He had some by Leah, he had some by Bilhah, one of the concubines, and Zilpah, the other concubine. And he had one by his favorite wife, Rachel, who was Joseph and Benjamin's mother. Now, when Joseph was a certain age, his father, Jacob, out of all 12 sons, he made one coat of many colors. And he only gave it to that one son, Joseph. Now, just as with almost any sibling rivalry, that's going to stir up some contention. Because just as sure as children see one of their siblings getting more attention, and not to mention more gifts than they're getting, it's going to stir up some sibling rivalry. That's why sometimes you'll find one child hitting the other child in the back of the head while you're driving the car. And they don't want you to see it. They'll slap old mama's boy, old daddy's girl, when you're not looking. That's sibling rivalry, because they feel like mama and daddy is giving more attention to the other child. There's always stirs up controversy among children. The same thing happened with Joseph. But it wasn't Joseph's fault that his father decided to give only him a coat. And he received this coat, and when you're that child and always around the parent and all the other children are competing for that parent's attention, it puts you under the spotlight, just as it did with Joseph. He was on the spotlight of all of his siblings. They would get together and they said, we're sick of him. Look at him gloating. Look at how father is always there, giving him this, giving him that. He's always running behind father. I can't wait till, I get my hands on him. You know, some of you did that. Some of you tormented your brothers and your sisters. I only tormented one of my sisters, and that was Cassandra. She's the only one right here. I wonder is that the reason she never moved to this state. But that was many years ago. We're in our 40s now. I don't do that. But nevertheless, it happened. Children do that. They torment one another. I remember the times when Aunt Molly, our aunt, who the Lord had taken on away from here, we would be sitting in the house, and my grandmother, who's back there, she would be gone to handle the family business, and we would be at the house. I never messed with my older sister Shirley, but one time, I'll tell you all what happened, and then I'll go back to Cassandra. You need to hear this. It was three of us, three oldest, we were only 1 year apart. And one day I decided to lock Shirley out the door, out of the house. I locked the door, and I'm in the window, and I'm just making fun. You can't come in, you're going to be out. You're going to stay outside till mama comes. And I'm just having fun. I don't know, we might have been, 8 or 9, 10 maybe, somewhere in that range. And I'm just having fun with her this time. Because normally we would team up, we would double team Cassandra some kind of way. But this time I wanted to have fun with her too. And so I was just making fun. You can't come in, you go stay. And she said, boy, you better open that door. I said, I'm not opening nothing. I'm going to keep this door closed until mama comes. You're going to be outside all day long. The next thing I know, while I'm loading and all day long and all that stuff, a fist comes through the window, through the glass.